So how do children benefit from public speaking? Let's move on and let's find out. Public speaking means speaking up in class, on stage, and for yourself. It is using your voice to express your thoughts intentionally and powerfully. Public speaking is one of the various methods that we can use to help us really put ourselves out there into the world, to allow us to break through barriers, allow us to find the bridges necessary to all sorts of opportunities that can come our way in our lives. Children become confident learners, able to articulate and discuss their ideas with classmates, teachers, and other adults. This is particularly crucial, especially that element with teachers. I know a lot of students in my own profession who often have this shyness and fear to speak to me about a topic that maybe they don't know too much about, or they just don't know how to engage appropriately. And so the public speaking class is not just about giving a really well-crafted speech. It's also allowing students to practice through the art of speaking, how they can incorporate that into their everyday lives to let this go through into all sorts of interactions, particularly in school. So children also synthesize their ideas into compelling arguments. Well supported by appeals to emotion and logic, efficient learning becomes a vital skill. By efficient learning, what I mean by that is by being able to write effectively, by being able to understand the nuances of speaking well, by being able to understand how other people speak well. This is where we get into the various bits and pieces of speaking. And as students are able to break down broad, large topics, then ultimately they're going to be able to learn how to best approach a situation, how to best solve a problem, and then learn to go ahead and improve themselves from that point forward. So in speech writing, it is its own unique genre, one that hones students' abilities to cut to the chase or to get a laugh out of their audience. And in addition, to modulate their language for whatever intended tone they have, whether it be a formal speech, a lighthearted speech, or something more dramatic. And of course, here on the slide, as you can see, we have some work that our students have done. For third graders, we've had speeches about why it's better to be a kid than an adult. For seventh graders, does homework promote learning? And so we try to tailor each particular age group's topics to what they know best, to what is most appropriate for them at the age that they are. Children feel comfortable and capable of advocating for themselves in class discussions, group projects, or in one-on-one sessions with their teachers. They emerge from a group of mostly silent students and leave positive impressions. Being a teacher, this is something that I see very often. We have normally in a class of, let's say, 25 students, about 5, 6, or 7 at most who are very engaged, who want to answer every single question, to be the first person to say everything. And oftentimes, these are the students in a classroom who get the most attention, the ones who the teachers get to learn very well. But then, of course, we have everybody else too. While the teacher does his or her best to get to every single student, to speak with every person, to understand their concerns, to understand their needs, being able to self-advocate for yourself is the most important thing that a student can do. And public speaking, through the practice that we do here, the idea here is, again, not just to learn how to tell a really good, well-crafted speech, but for students to eventually come to the idea that my voice matters. I have value in something that I want to say. And so therefore, whether I say something with boldness and confidence because I know the answer, or because I need to seek out some sort of help, I will be the one who will emerge from the silent majority and speak out, come to after school for help. answer questions more boldly, whatever it is that I need to do to get the education I need to let my voice be heard by as many people as possible. And then there's the matter of stage presence. Stage presence is the ability of a performer to capture and command the audience's attention, allowing them to direct that attention with their speech, body language, and general mannerisms. So to point back to Peter, whom we just saw a few minutes ago, Peter, as you could see, was very deliberately moving across the stage from left to right, not too fast, not too slow, just enough to keep the audience's eyes on him. That's the idea. That's a skill that allows the presenter to know how to adjust their presence on stage. Should I speak a little bit more loudly? Should I speed up in this section? Should I provide a dramatic pause right here? Sometimes even the best presented, the best planned out speeches require some tweaking here and there. And by understanding your position as a presenter, all the skills you have at your disposal, your hands, your voice, your eyes, your posture, you will be able to modulate and change according to the situation that you are presented in with the audience that you have. So in addition to this, in public speaking, children learn how to craft their own stage presence, that unique mix of charm, tone, body language, and audience interaction that will make them a compelling speaker. This is something that we absolutely focus on. It's critical that all of our students learn to be able to recognize these charms, these body languages, these various parts of public speaking that are more than just the voice in each other. So that way they can give good, honest feedback to help one another grow and improve in their public speaking. And in addition to this, of course, stage presence will carry children through important milestones such as private schools, colleges, graduate schools, and their careers. We all know that first impressions are very important, and oftentimes we don't have many opportunities to get more than one. And so this idea of stage presence, the skills that we are teaching in this class for public speaking, will be something that will carry forward for students into their futures. Even the youngest ones in third grade, they may not know exactly yet at that age how all of this will affect them, but 5, 7, 10, 15 years down the road, what they learn here through practice, through engagement, will ultimately become a sort of muscle memory, something that they'll be able to recognize and be aware of even when they're actively speaking. And so they'll be able to modulate, to adapt, and therefore have a better chance to create a really good first impression no matter what it is they're trying to do. Active listening is as important as speaking. We want to model listening and being engaged with the audience member. So listening isn't just waiting for your turn to speak, it's focusing on the speaker so that you are internalizing their ideas and understanding what they are trying to communicate. As attentive listeners, students become thoughtful members of their classrooms who can offer informed responses and questions. This is very critical in terms of group projects, in terms of dramatic dialogue, in terms of group reading, in terms of all the various engagements that can happen within a social studies or an English classroom, or even in science when students engage in labs. All of these things allow the student to be able to engage in teamwork. And all of us from our own time in school can probably remember what it was like to work with other students. It can be difficult sometimes, but oftentimes someone ends up being the person who takes charge and is able to get everybody else to get to work and find a role for themselves. This could very well be your child. Through the public speaking courses, through the work and the exercises we do, they'll be able to transfer those skills from there into these various other locales, these various other engagements that they have in their lives. So with strong public speaking skills, children can do the following: find value in their voice, building confidence and efficiency in learning, understand the nuances of speech, craft compelling stage presences, and emerge from the majority.